You just cost me everything, you useless piece of trash. Her voice echoed through the marble foyer like a whip crack. I stood there, package still in hand, rain dripping from my uniform onto her imported Italian tiles. Madison Ashworth didn't just look angry. She looked radioactive. Her perfectly manicured finger stabbed toward the grandfather clock behind her. 4:27 p.m. 4:27. The package was due at 4:15. 12 minutes late. Do you have any idea what was in this box? She snatched it from my hands with such force I almost stumbled forward. Ma'am, I'm really sorry. There was an accident on the bridge, and I don't care if the president died on that bridge. She shrieked. Her face was red now, splotches creeping up her neck like a rash. This was a limited edition Cartier bracelet being delivered for authentication before tonight's gala. She ripped open the box right there in front of me. Inside was tissue paper. Expensive tissue paper. She tore through it like a wild animal. Her hands stopped. Her face went white. Where is it? I blinked. What? Where's the bracelet? She turned the box upside down. More tissue paper fell out. Nothing else. My stomach dropped into my shoes. Ma'am, I just delivered what was given to me. I didn't open. You stole it. She screamed. You opened this package and stole a $75,000 bracelet. What? No. I would never. She was already on her phone. Yes, police. I need officers at the Ashworth estate immediately. I've been robbed. My heart started hammering. Ma'am, please. I didn't take anything. The package was sealed when I got it. She ignored me completely. Yes, the delivery driver is still here. I'm detaining him now. Detaining. The word hit me like a slap. You can't be serious. She finally looked at me again. The fury in her eyes had crystallized into something worse. Cold certainty. You think because you're poor and I'm rich that you can just steal from me? That I won't notice? I didn't steal anything. Then where's the bracelet? I had no answer. Because I had no idea. She pointed to the antique chair in the corner. Sit down and don't move. If you try to leave, I'll add fleeing the scene to the charges. Charges. This was actually happening. I sat down because I didn't know what else to do. My phone buzzed in my pocket. My boss. 17 deliveries behind schedule, each one getting me closer to being fired. And now this. Madison paced back and forth, her heels clicking against the floor like a countdown timer. You know what the worst part is? She said suddenly. I didn't respond. The worst part is that I actually felt bad for you people. I tip. I donate to charities. And this is how you repay generosity. You people. The words hung in the air like poison. I came from nothing too, I said quietly. She laughed. Actually laughed. You are nothing. And you'll die nothing. That's the difference between us. I felt something crack inside my chest. Not anger. Something deeper. Older. The sound of every teacher who said I'd never amount to anything. Every kid who made fun of my Goodwill clothes. Every job application rejected. Every door slammed in my face. All of it crystallized in this moment. In this marble foyer. With this woman who looked at me like I was dirt on her shoe. Sirens wailed in the distance. Getting closer. Ma'am, I tried one more time. Please, let me show you the delivery manifest. The tracking information. Something. The only thing you're going to show anyone is your wrists for the handcuffs. The police cars pulled up outside. 2 of them. For a missing bracelet. For me. The officers walked in without knocking. Of course they didn't need to knock. This was the Ashworth estate. Ms. Ashworth, the first officer said, nodding respectfully. She pointed at me like I was a rat she'd caught in her kitchen. This man stole a $75,000 bracelet from a package he was supposed to deliver. The officer turned to me. His hand rested on his belt, near his gun. Sir, can you stand up, please? I stood. My legs felt like water. Do you have ID? I handed over my driver's license with shaking hands. He examined it. Looked at me. Looked at Madison. Ma'am, what evidence do you have that he took the bracelet? Thank God. A reasonable question. Madison's eyes flashed. The package arrived empty. He was the last person with access to it. Was the package sealed when you received it? She hesitated. Just for a second. It appeared to be. The officer turned back to me. Did you open this package during delivery? No, sir. Absolutely not. Can I search your vehicle? My heart sank. Because I knew what that meant. If they didn't find it in my van, I'd probably be clear. But if someone had planted it there. Yes, sir. Please do. We all walked outside. The rain had stopped, but everything was still wet and gray. My delivery van looked pathetic parked next to Madison's Mercedes and Tesla. The officer opened the back doors. Packages everywhere. He started searching. Madison stood with her arms crossed, watching like a hawk. I prayed harder than I'd ever prayed for anything. Please don't let there be anything. Please. The officer searched for 10 minutes. Under seats. In the glove box. Behind packages. Finally, he straightened up. Nothing here. I almost collapsed with relief. Madison's face turned purple. That's impossible. He must have hidden it somewhere. Check his pockets. The officer looked uncomfortable now. Ma'am, without more evidence, I can't. I'm a taxpayer. I fund your department. Check his damn pockets. The second officer stepped forward. Sir, would you mind emptying your pockets? I did. Phone. Wallet. Keys. Some coins. A protein bar wrapper. No $75,000 bracelet. Madison looked like she might actually explode. He gave it to an accomplice. He called someone before I stopped him. Did you call anyone? The first officer asked me. No, sir. You can check my phone records. He actually did. Took my phone and looked at the recent calls. Nothing outgoing in the last hour. Ms. Ashworth, he said carefully. Is it possible the bracelet was never in the package? She rounded on him like a viper. Are you suggesting I'm lying? No, ma'am. I'm suggesting there may have been an issue at the point of origin. The sender's location. Something flickered across Madison's face. Understanding. Then denial. Then pure rage. She grabbed her phone and dialed. Put it on speaker. Cartier customer service. How may I help you? This is Madison Ashworth. Confirmation number Alpha 7739. I need to speak with someone about my delivery immediately. One moment, please. We all stood there in silence. The hold music was Mozart. Of course it was. Ms. Ashworth. This is manager Sarah Chun. How can I help you? Where's my bracelet? I'm sorry, can you clarify? My limited edition diamond bracelet. $75,000. It was supposed to be delivered today for tonight's authentication. Typing sounds. Ms. Ashworth, according to our records, that piece was flagged for additional quality control yesterday. It hasn't shipped yet. Silence. Dead silence. Madison's face went from purple to white in 3 seconds. That's impossible. I got a shipping notification. That notification was an error in our system. We sent a correction email yesterday at 3 p.m. More typing. Yes, here it is. Sent to madison.ashworth@ashworthenterprises.com. Madison's hand started shaking. I didn't see that email. Our apologies for the confusion. The bracelet will ship tomorrow and arrive by Friday. The call ended. Nobody moved. The officers looked at each other. I looked at Madison. She looked at the empty box in her hands. At me. At the officers. At the universe that had just betrayed her. She started. Stopped. The first officer cleared his throat. Sir, you're free to go. Sorry for the inconvenience. Inconvenience. Like I'd been held up in traffic. Not accused of a felony. Not searched like a criminal. Not humiliated in front of armed police. Inconvenience. I started walking toward my van. Wait. Madison's voice. I turned. She looked different. Smaller somehow. I made a mistake. I waited. I apologized for the misunderstanding. Misunderstanding. Not for calling me trash. Not for saying I'd die nothing. Not for accusing me of being a thief. Misunderstanding. Okay, I said. Because what else could I say? I got in my van and drove away. My hands were still shaking. I had 16 deliveries left. I was now an hour behind. My phone rang. My boss. Marcus, where the hell are you? I explained. All of it. There was a long pause. You're fired. What? You're an hour behind. That's unacceptable. Company policy. But I was wrongly accused. The police. Not my problem. You're supposed to make deliveries on time. You didn't. You're done. The line went dead. I sat there in my van. Illegally parked. Just fired. Falsely accused. Publicly humiliated. And I started laughing. Because what else was there to do? I laughed until I cried. Cried until I couldn't breathe. Then I drove home. My apartment was a studio in the worst part of town. 400 square feet. Bathroom didn't lock. Heat barely worked. But it was mine. For now. Rent was due in 5 days. I just lost my job. I had $300 in my bank account. Rent was $800. I lay on my bed and stared at the ceiling. Counted the water stains. 14. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Is this Marcus Chin? Yes. This is attorney Jennifer Walsh. I represent the Ashworth family. My stomach dropped. Are you kidding me? Is she suing me now? What? No. No, Mr. Chun. I'm calling because Ms. Ashworth would like to offer you compensation for today's events. I sat up. Compensation? Yes. She understands that her reaction was inappropriate. She'd like to offer you $10,000 in exchange for signing a non-disclosure agreement about today's incident. $10,000. My rent for a year. My car repairs. My student loans. Everything. What does the NDA say exactly? That you won't discuss today's events with media, social media, or any public forum. Standard stuff. And if I don't sign? A pause. That's your choice, Mr. Chun. But I should mention that Ms. Ashworth has considerable influence. It would be unfortunate if certain stories about today were mischaracterized. There it was. The velvet threat. Take the money and shut up. Or face the consequences. Can I think about it? You have until noon tomorrow. After that, the offer expires. She hung up. I stared at my phone. $10,000. Life-changing money. All I had to do was pretend today didn't happen. Pretend she didn't call me trash. Pretend she didn't try to have me arrested. Pretend rich people don't get away with everything. I opened my laptop. Started typing. Everything that happened. Every word she said. Every feeling I felt. I posted it on Reddit. r/true off my chest. Title: A rich girl tried to have me arrested for a crime that never happened. I hit post. Then I sat back and waited. Nothing happened for 20 minutes. Then the upvote started. 10, 50, 100. The comments rolled in. This is exactly what's wrong with America. Sue her for defamation. Name and shame. OP. Post her address. I didn't post her name. I didn't post her address. But I gave enough details. Luxury estate. Cartier bracelet. Ashworth name was never mentioned. But people started guessing. By morning, the post had 15,000 upvotes. It hit the front page. Local news sites started picking it up. Delivery driver shares story of wrongful accusation by wealthy client. My phone rang at 8 a.m. Attorney Walsh. Mr. Chun, have you seen social media this morning? Yes. Did you post that story? I did. You understand this violates the spirit of our offer? I never signed anything. Silence. Ms. Ashworth is very upset. I'm sure she is. She's willing to increase the offer to $25,000 if you delete the post. $25,000. No. Excuse me? I said no. Some things aren't for sale. Mr. Chun, you're making a serious mistake. Probably. But it's my mistake to make. I hung up. My phone immediately started buzzing. News outlets. Podcasters. YouTubers. Everyone wanted the story. I ignored them all. I went to the coffee shop down the street. Ordered a black coffee I couldn't afford. Sat by the window. Watched the world go by. A woman sat down across from me. 50s. Professional clothes. Kind eyes. Marcus Chun. I tensed. Who's asking? My name is Dr. Patricia Moore. I'm a sociologist at the university. I study class dynamics and social justice. Okay. I read your story. I'd like to help you. How? She slid a business card across the table. I have connections with several labor rights organizations. They'd be interested in your case. Pro bono legal representation. Media training. The works. Why? Because stories like yours matter. Because the Madison Ashworths of the world need to be held accountable. I looked at the card. Looked at her. What's the catch? She smiled. No catch. Just justice. I pocketed the card. I'll think about it. She nodded and left. I sat there until my coffee was cold. My phone rang again. Different unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Marcus? The voice was young. Female. Scared. Who is this? My name is Sophie. I work for the Ashworths. My attention sharpened. Okay. I saw your post. I know what happened. And you need to know something. What? Madison did this before. 3 years ago. To a landscaper. She accused him of stealing garden equipment. He was arrested. Charged. He lost everything fighting the case. My blood ran cold. What happened to him? The charges were eventually dropped. The equipment was found in the garden shed. Madison had just forgotten it was there. Jesus. She never apologized. Never compensated him. He lost his business. His marriage. Last I heard, he was living in his car. Why are you telling me this? Because someone needs to stop her. And maybe you can. How? There's more. The Ashworths have a pattern. Madison specifically. She's destroyed 6 people in the last 5 years. All poor. All service workers. All covered up with money and lawyers. My hands started shaking. Can you prove this? I have dates. Names. Some documentation. But I can't come forward publicly. I need this job. I have a daughter. I understand. But I can send you everything anonymously. You can do what you want with it. Send it. She did. Within an hour, my email was full of files. Police reports, settlement agreements, witness statements, all carefully documented, all showing a pattern of abuse, of power, of cruelty. I sat there staring at my computer screen. This was bigger than me, bigger than one bad day. This was systematic. I called Dr. Moore, told her everything. She was silent for a long time. Marcus, if you release this information, your life will change forever. It already has. No. I mean, the Ashworths will come after you with everything they have. Lawyers, private investigators, character assassination. They'll destroy you. They're already trying. This is different. This is war. I thought about the landscaper living in his car, about all the other names in those files, people who'd been crushed and forgotten. Then it's war. Dr. Moore connected me with a journalist named Rachel Kim, investigative reporter for a major publication. She spent 3 days verifying everything, tracking down the victims, building the case. The article dropped on a Thursday morning. Front page. Dynasty of Abuse. How one wealthy family destroyed working-class lives for years. It named names, showed receipts, detailed everything. By noon, it had gone viral. By evening, Madison Ashworth was trending on Twitter. Hashtag Ashworth accountability. Hashtag eat the rich. Hashtag justice for Marcus. The family released a statement. These allegations are false and defamatory. We will pursue legal action. But the evidence was too strong. More victims started coming forward. A housekeeper who'd been accused of stealing silverware. A mechanic who'd been blamed for scratching a car. A tutor who'd been fired for inappropriate behavior that never happened. The stories piled up. The district attorney announced an investigation. State Labor Board got involved. IRS started looking into the family's charitable foundation. Everything unraveled. My phone never stopped ringing. Interview requests. Book deals. Movie rights. I said no to everything. This wasn't about fame. This was about justice. 2 weeks after the article dropped, I got a visitor. Madison Ashworth. She showed up at my apartment. Alone. No lawyers. No security. Just her. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed. No makeup. Sweatpants. Human. Can I come in? Every instinct screamed no. But I stepped aside. She walked in. Looked around at my tiny studio. Sat on my second-hand couch. This is where you live? Yes. She nodded slowly. I never thought about it. Where people like you lived. People like me. I'm not. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? She was quiet for a long time. I don't know. I guess I never thought about you as real. As a person with a life and problems and reality. We're all real. I know that now. She started crying. Not delicate tears. Ugly, choking sobs. My dad cut me off. My friends won't talk to me. I got kicked out of the junior league. My fiancé called off our engagement. Everyone hates me. I didn't say anything. And the worst part is, I deserve it. All of it. I've been a monster. Yes, you have. She looked up at me. Can you ever forgive me? I sat down across from her. I don't know. Maybe. Someday. But forgiveness isn't the point. Then what is? Change. Real change. In you. In the system. In how we treat each other. How do I do that? You start by apologizing to everyone you hurt. Publicly. Really apologizing. Not a PR statement. Real words. Real remorse. Okay. You use your platform and your money to actually help people. Not performative charity. Real help. Okay. And you never, ever look at another human being the way you looked at me that day. She nodded. I'll try. I promise I'll try. She left. I didn't believe her. Not really. But maybe that wasn't the point either. 3 months later, Madison did a tell-all interview. Admitted everything. Named her own behavior. Apologized to every victim by name. Set up a fund to compensate them. She looked different. Talked different. Maybe it was real. Maybe it wasn't. Tom would tell. The landscaper got his business back. Got counseling. Reconciled with his ex-wife. The other victims got justice. Got compensation. Got their lives back. I got job offers. Lots of them. Nonprofits. Advocacy groups. Speaking engagements. I took a position with a labor rights organization, helping other service workers stand up to abuse. My studio apartment got upgraded. Nothing fancy, but clean, safe, warm, enough. I still think about that day sometimes. Standing in that marble foyer, rain dripping onto Italian tiles, being called trash, being called nothing. And I think about what I learned. That your worth isn't determined by your bank account. That standing up costs everything and nothing. That sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to be silent. That justice is messy and complicated and never perfect. But it's worth fighting for. Always. 6 months after everything, I got a letter, handwritten, from Madison. It said, "Dear Marcus, I'm writing from a women's shelter in Detroit. I've been volunteering here for 3 months. Living in a one-bedroom apartment I pay for with my new job. Administrative assistant. Minimum wage. Dad still won't talk to me. Mom sends money sometimes, but I send it back. I need to do this on my own. The women here, they're amazing. Strong. Brave. Survivors. They've taught me more about life than 12 years of private school ever did. One of them, Maria, she's been homeless for 2 years. 3 kids. Trying to escape an abusive husband. I asked her what she needed. You know what she said? Someone to see me as human. That's what you did for me. When I didn't deserve it. When I'd never done it for anyone else. You saw me as human. Flawed. Capable of change. Worthy of a chance. I'm not the same person I was. I'll never be her again. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you for destroying my old life. Thank you for giving me a chance at a real one. Love, Madison." I read the letter 3 times. Folded it carefully. Put it in a drawer. I didn't write back. Some things don't need a response. They just need to be acknowledged. Witnessed. Remembered. A year after the delivery, I was giving a talk at a community college. About workers' rights. About standing up. About not being silent. Afterward, a young woman approached me. Couldn't have been more than 19. "Mr. Chen?" "Yes. I wanted to thank you." "For what?" "My mom is a housekeeper. She's been dealing with a situation like yours. Employer accusing her of stealing. No proof. Just assumptions." My stomach tightened. "What happened?" "She heard your story. It gave her courage. She stood up. Got a lawyer. Won her case." The girl's eyes filled with tears. "You saved her job. Her dignity. Our family." She hugged me. Quick. Fierce. Then she was gone. I stood there in the empty auditorium. And I realized something. That day in the marble foyer. That terrible, humiliating, painful day. It wasn't just about me. It was never just about me. It was about every person who'd ever been treated like they didn't matter. Every worker who'd been abused. Every voice that had been silenced. Every human being who'd been reduced to their economic value. My pain had become purpose. My humiliation had become hope. My silence had become a shout. And that changed everything. I still deliver packages sometimes. Not because I have to. Because I want to. To remember where I came from. To stay connected to the reality most people live. To never forget what it feels like to be invisible. Last week, I delivered a package to a mansion. Not as big as the Ashworth estate. But close. The woman who answered the door looked annoyed. "You're late." I was. 5 minutes. Traffic. "I apologize, ma'am." She sighed dramatically. Grabbed the package. Started to close the door. Then she paused. Looked at me. Really looked. "Wait. Are you Marcus Chun?" My heart skipped. "Here we go?" "Yes, ma'am." Her expression changed. Completely. "I read about you. About what you did." I braced myself. She stepped outside. Extended her hand. "Thank you. For everything you're doing. For people like my sister." She's a home health aide. Her patient accused her of stealing last month. She showed them your story. They backed down. I shook her hand. "I'm glad I could help." She pressed something into my hand. $100 bill. "This isn't charity. This is respect." For delivering my package. And for being brave. I started to refuse. She closed my fingers around it. "Please. Let me do this." I took it. "Thank you." She smiled. Went back inside. I sat in my van for a minute. Looked at the $100. Looked at the mansion. Looked at myself in the rearview mirror. And I smiled. Because maybe things were changing. Not everywhere. Not all at once. But slowly. Person by person. Interaction by interaction. Story by story. Maybe we were learning. To see each other. To treat each other better. To remember our shared humanity. Or maybe I was just optimistic. Naive. Hopeful. But hope is a choice. And I choose it. Every single day. Even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because the alternative is surrender. Is silence. Is accepting that some lives matter more than others. And I can't do that. Won't do that. Not anymore. The package I delivered that day to Madison Ashworth was empty. But what came from it wasn't. It was full of truth. Of justice. Of change. Of hope. And that's worth more than any $75,000 bracelet. More than any settlement. More than any amount of money. Because you can't put a price tag on dignity. On being seen. on being human. And that's what this was always about. Not revenge, not fame, not even justice, really. It was about claiming my humanity and refusing to let anyone take it from me again. That's the story. That's what happened. That's what I learned. Now I ask you, if someone offered you $10,000 to stay silent about injustice, to swallow your pain, to pretend it didn't happen, would you take it? Or would you speak? Would you risk everything for the chance at real change? Would you choose dignity over comfort? Truth over peace? Justice over money? What would you do? Tell me in the comments. Because your answer matters. Your voice matters. You matter. And don't let anyone ever tell you different.